Those who know me, and I don't think I am very difficult to understand, and those who knew my darling, my beloved, will, I am sure, understand how it is that my heart should be rent with sorrow. If I had had a tree that had grown up in your garden, under your window, which for 40 years had been your shadow from the burning sun, whose flowers had been the adornment and beauty of your life, whose fruit had been almost the stay of your existence, and the gardener had come along and swung his glittering axe and cut it down before your eyes, I think you would feel as though you had a blank. It might not be a big one, but a little blank in your life. If you had had a servant who for all this long time had served you without fee or reward, who had administered for very love to your health and comfort, and who had passed suddenly away, you would miss that servant. If you had had a counselor who in hours continually recurring of perplexity and amazement had ever advised you and seldom advised wrong, whose advice you had followed and seldom had reason to regret it, and the counselor, while you are in the same intricate mazes of your existence, had passed away, you would miss that counselor. If you had had a friend who had understood your very nature, the rise and fall of your feelings, the bent of your thoughts, and the purpose of your existence, a friend whose communion had always been pleasant, the most pleasant of all other friends, to whom you had ever turned with satisfaction, your friend had been taken away, you would feel sorrow at the loss. If you had had a mother for your children, who had cradled and nursed and trained them for the service of the living God, in which you most delighted, a mother indeed who had never ceased to bear their sorrows on her heart, and that darling mother had been taken from your side, you would feel it a sorrow. If you had had a wife, a sweet love of a wife, who for 40 years had never given you real cause for grief, a wife who had stood with you side by side in the battle's front, who had been a comrade to you, ever willing to interpose herself between you and the enemy, and ever the strongest when the battle was fiercest, and your beloved had fallen before your eyes, I am sure there would be some excuse for your sorrow. Well, my comrades, you can roll all these qualities into one personality, and what would be lost in each, I have lost all in one. There has been taken away from me the delight of my eyes, the inspiration of my soul, and we are about to lay all that remains of her in the grave. I have been looking right at the bottom of it here, and calculating how soon they may bring and lay me alongside her. And my cry to God has been that every remaining hour of my life may make me readier to come and join her in death, to go and embrace her in life in the eternal city. This afternoon, my heart has been full of gratitude because her soul is now with Jesus. She had a great capacity for suffering and a great capacity for joy. And her heart is full of joy this afternoon. My heart has also been full of gratitude because God lent me for so long a season such a treasure. I have been thinking, if I had to point out her three great qualities to you here, they would be, first, she was good. She was washed in the blood of the Lamb. To the last moment, her cry was, a sinner saved by grace. She was a thorough hater of shams, hypocrisies, and make-believes. Second, she was love. Her whole soul was full of tender, deep compassion. I was thinking this morning that she suffered more in her lifetime through her compassion for poor dumb animals than some doctors of divinity suffer for the wide, wide world of sinning, sorrowing mortals. Oh, how she loved, how she compassioned, how she pitied the suffering, how she longed to put her arms round the sorrowful and help them. Lastly, she was a warrior. She liked the fight. She was not one who said to others, "Go," but "Here, let me go." And when there was the necessity, she cried, "I will go." I never knew her flinch until her poor body compelled her to lie aside. Another thought fills my soul with praise, that she has inspired so many to follow in her track.